morning. I hope you can all hear us. Well done for everyone who's got their cameras on as well.
Be some thumbs up there.
So I'm Phil. This is Nick.
Good morning.
Louise.
Morning.
And Denise.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the user meeting. There we go. So obviously Denise looks after the development team. So she's got a team there, Mike, Robin, Alison and Andy. Nick is operations manager. We've got Louis, who's our support team leader, working alongside Felicity, Holly, Louis, little Louis, or other Louis, Harry and Andy. And then Christo, technical services, working with his team leader, working with Gareth and Paul. Louise looks after our training. Tarvin and Ed look after our web support. Maria keeps everything going, looks after admin. I obviously look after commercial. And then also part of the group, because obviously board is part of a Heritage Information group of companies. Holly, who looks after our accounts side, and obviously the management executive, which is Paul, Silvana, and Dean. So just a couple of bits of quick housekeeping. So there's the agenda for today. We've got Adam coming in. So we're going to talk about how we're going to do the highlights from the last issue as we usually do. But we're just going to go through those shortly. And we've got Adam from Prompt who's going to talk about pay by link service that they offer, part of ours. We're going to give you a quick demo of our new ePod facility coming soon. And then hopefully probably the most useful bit of the whole meeting will be the Counteract Did You Know. We're going to pick out some bits of the system that you might not know or might have missed. Then we're going to have a little bit from Lewis at Payment Sense. And we'll talk about Forward Project, give you an update on that, and then questions as well.
So hello and welcome from me to our user meeting. So in this next lot, I'm going to run through some of the new features that are in our latest issue, 3.1c. There are over 380 updates in this issue, so the development team have been very busy yet again. I'm obviously not going to run through anything like all of those. I'm just going to focus on the ones that we think will be most useful to the maximum number of people. And so I'll start first of all with the heart of the system, obviously heart of things, what goes on the counter and updates that will affect counter processing, counter sales. So the first thing we've updated is what 3 words. And in the last issue, we added functionality so that you can store a what's 3 words location against an account customer's address and also against any delivery points that are stored for account customers. And lots of you liked that feature and then followed up by asking us, could we extend what 3 words to casual cash sales? So we've done that, and I'll just show you what we've done and how that will work for you. So I'm going to just start off a cash sale, do retail cash sale. I'll make it delivered. Okay, so if I'll just make something up and put a pretend address in there, Monmouth. And so you can see down here, if you've got this enabled on your system, there's a space down here where you can either enter the postcode, or this last row is where you could enter the what 3 words. So ideally, I'd enter it here. I'm not going to do that at this point because I'm going to show you how the system behaves if I don't enter it. So I'm going to go off and quickly just add a product to my ticket so that I can save and close that ticket. If I cancel that, and then I'm going to go save and close my ticket, take my deposit, and close my ticket here. Now, if I close here, I haven't entered either a postcode or what 3 words. And so with the sort of setting you can set the system and you put what 3 words on so that it will prompt you and won't let you out of a delivered sale unless you have added it. So if I add my what 3 words in there, just enter the what 3 word code, and you can see that in the fields where the what 3 words can be entered, as soon as you've entered a code of your 3 words, then the little button on the end comes into full color. And if you click on that, it'll take you off and it will open up a map and give you the what 3 word location. And I'm struggling to get to my navigating thing on, there we go, because we've got so much open on the screen, but you can see it'll take you to what 3 words and open up where that location is. So that's our, I don't want to close that, I can't get to it now. Just give it a second. Nick's going to move some stuff around on the screen for me. Thank you. So that I can get to the top of all my windows because they're hidden by the Zoom controls. Okay, so that's what 3 words in a casual cash sale. Now, independently of that, you can, I'll cancel that, we don't want that. I'll cancel out there. Independently of having what 3 words on a casual cash sale, you can also enter them against a cash direct order. So if I just open up direct order and show you where it is in that screen. So on your direct order, if I go for a cash version of a direct order, down here, you can see just like on a casual cash stock sale, you've got the what 3 words here on a direct. So I won't flow the whole process through with the direct. It works in exactly the same way. And just to re-emphasize, having what 3 words on a cash direct and a cash stock sale are independent controls. So you can have them on one or the other or both completely independently, you choose. So you just let us know if you want that particular feature setting up for you on your system. Okay, so I'll come out of there and I'll go back into a sale and start a retail sale. So the next feature I'm just going to show you is a change we've made to product searches within a sales ticket. So I'll go onto my items tab and you can see when I'm doing a product search, we can now set the system so that you have these 2 little radio buttons appear here on the product search box. And what I'll do, it's easier to show you rather than explain it. If I search for a product, I'll search for cement. And when I've searched for cement, I've got stocked only highlighted. And what that means is that in the list of the products that search has returned, I'm only being shown products where cement is in the description and they are of stock type stocked. Okay, if I come out of that and I click in include on request and redo the search, then returned into my search as well are products with cement in the description, which are stock type on request. So the idea behind that is it helps you to limit the number of products that are returned on a search, which can make life easier for the guys on the counter. It's also worth saying that there are additional control file options which have always been in place and they still continue to operate, which allow you to then decide how you'd like this list to be ordered if you have on request products in that list. So there's an option that lets you say, I'd like the on request products at the bottom and the stocked ones at the top, or the other way around. And there's also a control file setting that allows you to say, only show me the on request products if there happens to be stock of them on site at the minute. So those 2 bits of functionality still exist within, when you use this new feature. So again, if you'd like that active on your system, let us know and we can turn that on for your sales guys on the counter. Okay, so I'll close that down and come out of that sale. Okay, so another feature that we've included in 3.1c, we're calling high value dealer checks. And this has been asked for by a number of you in response to the UK's money laundering regulations. And under those regulations, if you accept high value cash payments, then you may well have to register with HMRC as a high value dealer, and that will entail extra checks by HMRC and extra administrative actions on your part. So the idea behind the high value dealer checks is it's designed to help you ensure that your business doesn't fall into that category, and that you don't find yourself classed as operating as a high value dealer. So there are two sides to these checks. The first one I'll show you first, is you can set the system so that it will limit the amount in cash, the value in cash that an account customer can pay you over a given period of time. And you're in charge of what value you want and the period of time. You tell us, we set that up for you, depending on your business and what would work for you. So my system is set that it will not accept more than £2,000 in any 3-day window as a cash payment from an account customer. And if I show you what happens if you then try and go over that limit, so I'll just go into options on sales order processing, and I will enter an account payment. And I know that my customer, Mr. Bob Jones, has already made some cash payments in the last few days. And so what I'm going to try and do is he's going to try and pay £600 as a cash payment on his account. Okay, so I'll say okay. And then I've got this message popping up. So it's telling me the transaction will result in a total value of cash payments exceeding the rules set. And this customer can only pay a maximum of £400 for this transaction. Please use an alternative payment method. So it tells me very clearly that he cannot pay £600 in cash and how much he can pay in cash. So at that point, what I could do then, if I was one of your counter staff, perhaps I could put that much in there and I could pay the rest by check, and it would let that go through now. So that's the first side of the high value dealer checks. The second side of that function is putting a limit on the value of any single cash transaction that can be taken over the counter on a casual cash sale. So again, on my system, I've set that limit as £500. You tell us what you'd like the limit to be on your system. And if I just run through that and show you how that operates, if I do a casual cash sale, I'll do a collected one. And I'll search for something quite high value. I think we'll sell a boiler because they're quite expensive. I sell one of those. Okay, cancel off there and then go through to the payment screen and try to take the entirety of that in cash. If I then click OK, I get a very similar message to the one I had last time, and it's telling me how much a single cash customer can pay. So a single cash transaction can be £500. So again, you know, you could then, your counter staff would know they'd have to split it, for example, that kind of thing. And the payment could then go through in that way. So that's high value dealer checks. So again, if you think that will be of use for your business, then talk to the support team and we can have a conversation with you and make sure that we set it up with values and timescales that all match what you need for your business. Okay, so another feature that we think will be helpful to counter sales is having the ability to link documents or web addresses to products. So just as a recap, the linked documents have been in the system for a while, and they are documents which are stored in a shared area on Counteract. And then within Counteract, you can create a link to that document so that you can open the document up from within Counteract. You don't have to sort of minimize Counteract and go and find the document. That's the way that linked documents work. and they've been available on customer details and supplier details for a while. And so we've put them on to product details as well. So if I just go into a sale and show you how they would work within a sale. So I'll just start off a really quick cash sale as well, just to get in there. Okay, and I will look for one of my boilers. So if I pop that boiler on my ticket, when I'm in this screen for any product, so it's the screen where you enter, override the selling price if you've got that salesman authority, or enter the quantity. Then I've got a little prices button up here. And that pulls through data from the price book onto the counter, excuse me, for this particular product. So if I click on that, I've got all of my price book data here that I can look at, but I've also got this links button here now. And if I click on that links button, you can see I've created 2 links on my little boiler. One of them is a web page. So if there's for a supplier or a manufacturer web page that would be useful, I can highlight it, click drill down, and it'll open up that web page for me. Close up and down. If you've got data sheets or any other type of document that would be useful for the guys on the counter to occasionally access if they're having conversations about selling something with their customers, then they can be stored in the shared area and accessed as well. So that's how we think linked documents would be useful in a counter sale. If I'll close that down and just show you where and how you add those documents. Don't save that. I'll go off to the price book. So you have to set up your linked documents in the price book. And I'll go into the maintenance menu and add amend product details. Okay, and I'll just look for my second boiler, which I haven't set any links up for. Okay. And so in this sort of set of screens where you put in all of the data, your selling prices, your buying prices, any other details for your products, you now have a little links button up here. And if I click on there, you see a page that looks very similar to the page where I access them in the counter. And I'll just click add, and you need to give something a description. Description like that, and then you can either browse, or for example, if it is a web page, I could go off to the web page. So I know I opened this one up earlier just to save time. That's the web page with the manufacturer's details on. I could just Control C and Ctrl V, just copy that in there and update. And similarly, if I wanted to add a document, I could just browse for a document on my machine, grab it, open, give it a description, just do that quickly, update. Okay, don't forget to save there. And that's adding a linked document. Okay, keep moving on. Finally, the final sort of changes that I'm going to talk through at this point that we've made, which really impact on counter sales and on sort of sales administration, are we've made a number of changes to searches. And the idea is to make searching for documents more efficient, easier for you to get to what you need, get there more quickly. So the first one is to allow you to change the default search options. So the easiest thing for me to do is to, I'll go into sales order processing, go into inquiries, and open up display customer order. So if I come in here and I'm searching for a customer order, so you'll have these buttons across the top, which you'll be familiar with, which you use then to either search by account customer name, cash customer details, or by document number. So what you can do in Counteract now is for different searches, you can say which one of these radio buttons you want to be selected when you open it up. when you open up this search. And then because you can set those by default, the little cursor sits in here, flashing away, ready for you to type. So the idea is you don't have to select the search type you use most often. It's selected for you and you don't have to click in the box. You can just start typing. So if I pull up, excuse me, Bob Jones, and that's searching for his customer orders, I'll just minimize that to really make it clear by showing you a different search. So if I minimize that one and I go down to stock control, and in stock control, in ordering inquiries, if I'll pull up a return to supplier, you can see that this one is defaulting to number. So all of these different searches where you can either search by sort of name or number, right throughout the system, you can decide what they're going to default to when you open those searches up. And it's easier to list them for you on a little PowerPoint slide. So that's a list of the various different searches where that is now available, and they can, each of those can be set independently. So depending on how the team who most often deal with those documents use those documents, you can set them up to either search by name, search by number. To show you another change to a search, if I just go back to this customer order, on some searches, there are now 2 extra little radio buttons down here. And so by default, when you search for something, it will come up with what the system considers to be current documents. So whether that's a supplier order, return to supplier, or in this case, a customer order, it's only showing current. If I click all, then in this case, it's going to show me all of Bob's customer orders. And those little radio buttons are on a number of our searches, on these ones in particular. Customer orders, direct orders, purchase orders, return to suppliers. Those little buttons are available. It's also worth saying at this point, while I close these down, that we've also made a number of changes. There's sort of background changes that you can't actually see visually to the way that the graphical system searches for products. And it improves the search time, the efficiency, by up to 20%. So if you're searching for a product using a word that's going to return you a lot of results, so I don't know, you're not doing a product search for screw or something, then that should now return in a noticeably faster time on the graphical system. Okay. Right, so that's the last of my sort of counter and sales errors. I admitted them. It's okay.
We've got some questions.
Oh, we've got some questions.
They're not coming through on
Ah.
so. Okay. So, is there any way to access the link by showing the price book information? So a lot of key information. It shows a lot of key information at counter level.
It is, but you have got salesman authorities that say whether you want to hide the cost and the margin.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're particularly worried about, that can be hidden.
Tom, do default searches also apply to character?
No.
No, they don't. That's it. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
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 We might have some trouble with the chat, but if you could keep asking the questions, and we'll sort of just review each bit.
So back office functions, Nick.
Thought you were finished.
No, I got 3 back office functions to do. 3 little back office functions. Right. So these are quicker. So a lot of you asked us if you could store more or longer email addresses for your customers. So now if you go to add amend customer details, in the contacts tab, we've doubled the size of the email and the document email fields in there. So you can add more email addresses. If you're going to add more than 1 email address, then the email addresses must be separated by semicolons. That's email addresses. Okay, still in the sales ledger, a number of you use the analysis codes. So these analysis codes here to allow you to store critical and bespoke information against customers. And then you can use that within your sales analysis, and you can also use that information to filter reports and things like that. So we've been asked to increase the number of these codes that are available to you, because at the moment you have 8 that you can use in your systems. So what we've done is added some extra codes. You can get to them by clicking this button here. And any extra codes you've asked us to add to the system for you would be sitting on this screen. You can have up to 16 extra codes to use in your customer details. And in terms of editing those codes, you can edit them once we've created them for you when you do a cash account, a new cash account on the fly in the CRM suite, when you do maintain CRM details, and also when you load or update account details via a CSV file, you can change these codes in here. And you can view them using the usual display customer details. And also if you display the customer sales details in the CRM suite, you can view these codes. So in this issue, these codes are usable for the, let me find it, where's it going there, in the credit control report and also the ledger listing. So I can use them to filter how I run a credit control report. And you can see here, you've now got a new row, additional analysis codes. So I could filter my credit control report, for example, by some of those additional codes. Run that to a screen inquiry, so I'm just pulling out there just those customers I've got credit insurance against, for example. Similarly, I won't demonstrate it, but it works exactly the same way in a ledger listing. It's planned that in a future update, those codes will feed through to the sales analysis suite, so you'll be able to use them for full sales analysis in a future update. Load update.
Question.
Oh, question.
Louise, just
have a look. Semicolon? I don't think you do you?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So Sam asked, do we need semicolon if we put one email in each line? No, you don't. Just if you've got 2 emails on one line. I do that, don't I? If I shut it down, does it shut the chat down?
You're right.
All right, okay. So the last one is a new feature in load update product details. So if I come into the price book, so we know a lot of people use this feature to update selling prices. And what's now in here is a new feature so that you can upload a new net selling price in the CSV. And if your current selling price is based on a formula, then a new formula will be generated to give you the net price in your CSV. Okay, so that's quite a mouthful to explain that one. I think it's easier to show. I know. I'm trying to think of ways.
It just enables you to maintain the terms that you've got in there
as a
for pricing terms as a formula, even though you load it in as a net price.
So the easiest way to do it is to show you. So I've got 2 little products. I'm going to upload this CSV with a new cost price, a new retail collected, and a new trade aid collected price. Okay, so I'll shut that down. So I'm going to update existing. I'm going to load from a file. Where's my desktop? It's on my desktop, isn't it? Let's see. There it is. Effective date. So I've got to put an effective date for a future price. So I'll put tomorrow. And then it's this new row here that gives you this feature. So you can either choose to leave the price as a net price, and it'll then put a net price in your price book, or you can convert it to a term string, and it will convert it to a term string if you already have a term string against that product. So I'll go OK. That's completed it, and I'll show you then what the report looks like. So anywhere where you have a net price, so therefore it's used the net price and put that straight into the price book, it will tell you. Okay, so that's my report. Close that there. If I go and look at those products to show you what it's done. My first one. So I've got a current selling price, which has term strings in here, and the future net price. So I uploaded them as net prices, and what it's done is made them into term strings that will bring in the net price that was in my CSV. My other product I set up differently. So my other product has a current price, which is all net. And so in that case, what the system will do is leave your price book format exactly as it is, and it'll upload it as a net price. So that's a run through of the main updates to functionality in this issue. Oh, let's check chat first. On there.
So is it still not possible to import a formula using low prices from a CSV?
No, it's not. That's because the amount of validation that is required is extensive, and we're afraid that people will actually end up with a mess. So we do prefer them to use price book group amendments to do formula changes, because you've got so much functionality, not just the ability to load a straight formula, but you can manipulate the formulas as well. So we do recommend that you use price book group amendments.
Okay, so that's all the functionality I'm going to run through. If you, when you have your new issue installed, you'll get notes on these updates and all of the others that are within that issue. And there are short video clips on these and some other highlights updates on our YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to use any of these, you want to discuss them further, then please just drop an email to our support team and we'll help you out.
Yeah, and again,
Okay.
we can put them into the test systems. People can try them out before you put them to the live system.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't already got 31C, I think by the end of this week we're hoping to have had about 2/3 of the customers updated to the issue. So it's coming. If you haven't got it already, it's coming very soon. The next issue will be called 32B, and that is scheduled for closure at the end of June. So we're probably looking at sort of starting to get that rolled out somewhere around September time.